Hello, everybody. We are starting our new chapter, chapter 11, and it is on ratios and proportions. So today's going to start really basic in the beginning, so enjoy. What is a ratio? A ratio is a fraction that compares the relationships of two things. You can write ratios as fractions. Obviously, we just said A to B. You could write it, or some people write it with I always forget if that thing's called a colon or a semicolon, whatever that thing's called. So A to B as a fraction or A to B with that thing. Okay, so for this class, I'm going to say let's write them as fractions. So example 1. Write the ratio in reduced form of stars to circles. So literally all you have to do is how many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then how many circles are there? 1, 2. So that is the answer, 5 to 2. Now B says write the ratio of squares to total figures. Okay, so how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then in the denominator, they want all figures. So you got to count them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that would be squares to all. Okay, moving on. 18 girls and 9 boys in a class. Write the ratio of boys to girls. Okay, now it's important that you guys put it in the right order. Whichever comes first goes on top, and whichever comes second goes on bottom. Okay, so boys, there are 9 boys. And then girls, there are 18. Okay, so 9 to 18, but you always want to reduce if you can, and 9 over 18 reduces to 1/2. So always reduce. B says, write the ratio of girls to total students. Okay, so girls on top, 18. What's the total number of students? 18 plus 9 is 27. And that can be reduced by 9, and that reduces to 2/3. So you do want to do that. All right, that was the easy part. Now, how do we solve these things called proportions? So a proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. Okay, so if you have something like A over B equals C over D, that's called a proportion because it's two ratios that are equal. And we use this thing called cross multiplication to solve a proportion. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but if you ever have two ratios equal, you do this thing called cross multiply. So A times D equals B times C. And then you solve from there. Okay, so flip it over. Let's try some cross multiplying. Okay, so here we go. Oh wait, up here first. Okay, so number 1, cross multiply, and it doesn't matter which diagonal you do first. So I'm going to do this one first. What's 5 times x? You guys would say 5x, and then you always put an equal sign, and then you multiply the other. 2 times 60 is 120. And now just solve the equation. You guys know what to do, right? If you want to get x alone, you draw the wall. To undo multiply by 5, you just divide by 5, and x is going to be, what is that, 10, 14? That's it. All right, let's try one more easy one. Cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x equals 15 times 3 is 45. And then you solve. Okay, so you draw the wall, divide by 2, divide by 2. X is going to be, I think that's 22.5. Okay, obviously they get a little bit harder. Let's shoot down to 3 and 5 for some reason. Okay, so same thing, guys. We're going to cross multiply. 2 times x minus 1. Now here's where you guys have to be careful. When one of the expressions is a binomial, don't forget to distribute. So you actually have to distribute the 2. 2 times x minus 1 is actually 2x minus 2. You guys see that? You got to distribute the 2. And then the other side, 3 times 10 is just easy 30. All right, go ahead and solve. So you draw the wall. Now this one, first you got to add the 2 over, right, to isolate. And now we're at 2x equals 32, and then we divide, and x ends up being 16. Okay, guys, last one. So cross multiply. 4 times x plus 3. Don't forget to distribute. It's 4x plus 12 equals. Okay, be really careful. Now this one, 12 times 2x minus 1, you also have to distribute the 12. So when you multiply, it's 24x minus 12. Okay, and now you have to solve this equation. So this one, we got to get all the x's to one side. So I'm going to subtract the 4x over here. You guys remember how to do this, right? So now we're at 12 equals 20x minus 12. And now if the x's are on the right, then the constants have to move over to the left. So I'm going to add that 12 over. And now we're at 24 equals 20x. And lastly, to get x alone, we just divide both sides by 20. And then if you guys want to use your calculator on this one, 24 divided by 20 is 1.2. Or you could leave it as a reduced fraction. Okay, so decimal or fraction. All right, guys, that is ratios and solving proportions day 1. Nice job.